Somebody's got to click on got it. Jeremy? Sam?
Yeah, yeah,
I just got a screen. It says this is being live streamed and
Yeah.
it says got it. So click on got it.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. I just don't want to do the wrong thing. I've already done that tonight.
You're all good, John.
All right, we got rid of that. Okay, good. Well, I'm gonna be professional before we're done. Right.
All right. So 4:59, we're almost ready to start the meeting. I'm gonna, I guess, see if we got anyone would like to join. No one here joining. I'm gonna go probably share my screen, I think, to at least show you the agenda so we can have the most current agenda. Agenda. Can you guys see my screen?
yeah.
Yes, I can.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm letting Rosie into the room. Rosie's our code officer now. I don't know if you all knew that, but she was chair of the planning board and a local architect. She's now our code officer. So she's joined us. All right. I'm sorry about all the revised agendas. We did get one late on this afternoon. Generally, it's the same stuff, but there's just sometimes we just have to tweak some things, and sorry about that. We will make sure to, the last one we tell you is the final version, and we'll make a better attempt at making sure you know that. So sorry about that. And Sam, maybe I'll just start the meeting because of this process piece first.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, perfect. So tonight, this is Wednesday, October 20th, meeting of the Camden Zoning Board of Appeals. My name is Jeremy Martin. I'm the Planning and Development Director for the town. There is a review that's going to be done by the zoning board tonight under the nonconformance section of the town zoning ordinance. Prior to that, however, we do need to have, and what I'm asking you to do is have a hearing on this, adopting a remote meeting policy. And this is something I've done with that the select board had in place, and then they started meeting in person, and now they're up to meeting in kind of a hybrid model where in person and remote. The planning board continues to meet remotely due to COVID concerns and the people's abilities to be in the meetings physically, but we are working to get those scheduled back in the building at some point with a remote option. In order to do public hearings or public meetings like this, boards, planning board and zoning board of appeals need to adopt a remote meeting policy. This is a state statute that came out after the pandemic. And so the planning board has adopted the policy that I have provided to you folks. They actually adopted it once because like this one is valid for 60 days or until repealed by the zoning board of appeals. The planning board adopted for 60 days and then they just extended it another 60 days. I will say that they feel like they are getting valuable public comment and participation in their meetings, and they've been very productive. And we do have a means for obtaining public comment and receiving that comment. Even during the meeting, we're providing the opportunity for people to reach out to me, and then I can share comments with the board remotely, even during the meeting. So it's happening as if people are there. So what we do need to have is, again, just open a public hearing and hope that you guys would adopt this remote meeting policy. I do understand that there are people's concerns on the board and probably in the public about getting us in person again. We are getting there. And again, we're going to get to I think a hybrid model like the select board is doing. But right now, while we're not there yet fully, at least I'm not up to speed on it all. And I kind of manage these meetings or run these meetings with you all. So If you can review that policy and hopefully adopt it, and then we could then get on to the review that you're going to do on the Lisa B Company for 182 Molyneux Road, represented by Will Gartley. Again, just so everyone knows, this agenda has been posted appropriately, and notice has been given to all abutting property owners. We did this. This is a follow-up meeting from the one that was continued from 9/30, 2021 because of a lack of a quorum. So we're just kind of rebooting that. And certified notice did go out to all the abutters as needed. So we'll go from there. Sam, if you want to maybe open the meeting, and it's kind of, I don't think anything needs to be super formal about public hearing, this specific one. It's really just opening it up, asking for any comment if there is any. And you guys can, of course, if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. Then we would then not be able to hold this hearing tonight or this review anyway. So just throwing that out there. If you have any questions, feel free. Thanks, Sam.
Okay. So welcome everybody to the Town of Camden Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. The first thing we will do is to vote on this policy for conducting meetings remotely, as Jeremy's just explained. So I move that we accept this policy for conducting meetings remotely.
I'll second it, Sam.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to accept the remote meeting policy. All those in favor?
And that you do need to do roll call votes in these. I should say that. So
Right.
you need to have to go down individual members and ask for a yay or a nay.
Okay. Sam says yay. John says yay. Ron?
Ron says yay.
Ron says yay. Tia?
Tia says yay.
Tia says yay. Deb, we need your mic on.
Two clicks. Okay, Deb says yay.
Deb says yay. Okay, so we have a unanimous approval.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Really appreciate that. And again, we will get to hopefully a hybrid model as soon as possible. I don't have anything other pending, anything ready to come to you folks anyway in the near term. So we'll just go from there. I'm gonna still have no one. And just so everyone knows, this, I've been doing this for, the last 2 years with the board, with planning board, and I think it's been working pretty well. And I think, we are trying to get as much and soliciting as much feedback as possible, giving people more opportunity and more options to provide feedback and comments. So that's where we are now. And maybe we can start, open up this meeting, Sam. And I do know Jeannie, as always, tries to provide you a copy of, a process agenda to work from. If you have any questions, feel free to, I'm here to help you through this, and waiting for Jeannie to get home.
Okay, well, I can go through the procedure if we need to. Do you think we need to?
I don't really, I think really the procedure, Sam, maybe just explain briefly on that. I'll introduce, and then you'll hear from the applicant, and then you guys could ask questions, and then public comment period. Maybe you can, maybe accept what I just said.
Yeah.
I accept what Jeremy just said.
I will second that. Those in favor? Sam, yay. Tia, yay.
John, yay.
John, yay.
Deb yay.
Deb, yay. So we've got a unanimous acceptance on Jeremy's outline of the meeting. I think we probably could just go right to Rosie. Are you there, Rosie?
I think Sam, I'm going to act as Rosie today. I'm
Okay.
a code officer for the town, and I have that ability to do these. So
Okay, so we'll have Jeremy summarize the application, and then we'll go to Will as the applicant.
correct. Thank you. Again, Jeremy Martin, Planning Development Director, also alternate code officer for the town. And since Rosie's been here, I've been handling a fair amount of the zoning and shoreline zoning work as she's getting up to speed on all the work that goes with being a building inspector and code officer in town. So what you have in front of you today is the applicant is the Lisa B Company, represented by Will Gartley from Gartley and Dorsey. This is a project at 182 Molyneux Road, tax map 107, lot 48. And specifically, the reason before you is the applicant is proposing to change the use, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen really quick. That's all right. Sorry. The applicant's proposing to change the use of a non-conforming structure in the shoreland zone. The structure is currently an accessory outbuilding that is a non-conforming structure. The reason it's a non-conforming structure is that it does not meet the applicable 75-foot shoreline zoning setback from normal high water line. In order to change the use of this building, and they're proposing to make a dwelling unit here of the garage barn that's there, with no increase in footprint or any volume or anything, no exterior changes at all. But in order to do that, to change the use of a non-conforming structure, remember, this is non-conforming structure, not a non-conforming use. The applicant must get approval from the Zoning Board of Appeals under Article 6, Nonconformance, Section 6, changes in nonconforming structures in shoreland areas. And as the applicant's not proposing an expansion or work to the foundation, relocation, reconstruction, or replacement, then the section that applies within Article 6, Section 6 would be subsection 6, which is change of use of a nonconforming structure. And based on these sections, the zoning board, you folks need to approve the change of use of that nonconforming structure. And in order to do that, you got to follow a process. I've kind of laid out that process in a memo. It doesn't say a memo, but I did include that, and you guys all were sent that today. Will's seen it as well, I believe. And so I laid out the sections in the ordinance that apply. If you do read that section, Section 6, it talks about, in addition to the requirements of another section, Article 6, Section 3.4, which is nonconformance for nonconforming uses. And it's kind of a circular, weird thing that the ordinance does. And so after it says you got to review that section, which doesn't apply. And that's what I was trying to get at after you review Section 6. And there are standards for your review and the things that you need to make some determinations on. The above section, this section, Article 6, Section 3.4, I would suggest to you that the sections below that, non-conforming 3.4 and the special exception standards, don't apply in this instance, as they are not as this is not a non-conforming use on the property. The uses that exist and that are proposed, single-family home and accessory uses, are permitted uses in the zoning district. Again, they're not non-conforming; they are legal permitted uses. I've reviewed the ordinance sections as they pertain to this application with Colin Clark from the Maine DEP. He's a shoreline zoning coordinator, and he concurred with this review and this interpretation, and that it is consistent with the state's shoreline zoning guidelines and how they would review projects like this. So I would recommend, as you move forward after you hear Will's presentation, that you folks review the applicability of this section and then make a finding, in fact, that section doesn't apply because it's not changing a non-conforming use. That said, again, this is change of use of a non-conforming structure because, again, it's a setback issue from normal high water line. And from there, I'll give it to Will to represent the applicant.
Jeremy, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Given the number of agendas we've got, I'm just wondering what happened to the board quorum, jurisdiction, and applicant standing.
Oh, yeah, we should find that, Sam. I mean, we can do that now. Deb, sorry about that, Sam. This is where Jeannie's very helpful.
Sure. No, you're absolutely right, Deb.
Thanks, Deb.
So,
I'm channeling Jeannie.
yeah, good. We need that.
So there should be a motion that's made, and I'm going to go to one of those process agendas. name the board members who are present, right? And then that they have standing, that the applicant has standing.
So board members present are,
And then you also got to determine if there are conflicts.
okay, so we'll ask that question first. Does anyone present have a possible conflict of interest with this application or any procedure here?
Deb is no.
Sam is no.
John French,
Ron's a
no.
Ron is no.
Ron's a no.
He is no.
Okay, so we have no conflict of interest voiced here. The name of the members present here today, this evening are Sam Smith, Ron Van Arsdal, Deborah Chapman, Tia Anderson, John French.
And if T is here, she's an alternate, so she would be seated as a member today.
Okay, so Tia is a voting member this evening. Okay, so then we need to find,
Next thing would be,
what's that? Okay, so we need to establish standing of
Sam?
the Lisa B Company LLC. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Sam.
Okay,
You also have to find that you have jurisdiction
the
over
internet's cutting out.
the forming section.
we need to find that we have jurisdiction. I mean,
Correct.
we have a board quorum here.
Yeah. You got a quorum, and then now you've got to just find that you have jurisdiction over this application granted under the non-conforming section of the zoning ordinance.
So any one of us can say that, can propose
Correct.
that?
Take a motion and someone can second it.
Okay, so I'm going to move that we're here this evening to hear the application of the Lisa B Company LLC for permission to change the use of an existing non-conforming building within the shoreline setback. The ZBA is granted the authority by Article 6, non-conformance Section 3, non-conforming uses, Article 6, Section 6.6, changes in non-conforming structures in the shoreline, and Article 7, Section 4.3, special exception.
I will second that.
Second.
The motion's been made and
Can I,
seconded.
can I just add one comment here? This is, I think, Deb, what we should refer there to is actually, instead of Article 7, Section 4.3, special exception, I want to make sure that's right, because that section, that's the section that I got hung up on.
Right.
And that actually comes from, it's Section 3, 4.
It's 3.4.
It's actually 3.4. 3.4 then also sends you over to the special exceptions of 4.3, but this one would actually be 3.4 and then not 4.3. And then you don't need to mention the special exception section because that is what,
Section 7, we just leave out. It's just the first two.
yeah.
Yeah.
3.4. Thank you. Got a second from someone?
Yeah, it's been the motion has been seconded by me or John.
All right.
Those in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
So
aye,
John French, aye.
Ron is aye, Sam is aye, John is aye, Tia is aye. Deb, did you say aye?
Yes.
Good.
Okay, so we have unanimous in favor.
And then now we got the applicant standing. And it looks like Deb's ready to go with another motion.
Okay,
Yeah, I move that the applicant has standing. The applicant has submitted a copy of the deed to the property in their name, and this is sufficient to show standing to apply.
is that a motion?
I'll second.
That is a motion, Sam, sorry.
Motion made and seconded. Those in favor, Sam, aye.
Ron, aye,
Deb, I.
Dia,
John,
I.
I.
The motion has been accepted unanimously by
Perfect.
all members of the planning board, zoning board.
So next would come the presentation that what I just said previous to this little interruption, and I'm glad Deb got that right for us. Thank you. Keeping us on track. So I don't know if you want me to say what I said again, or you just accept what I said previously and then maybe get to Will's applicant's presentation.
I think we're ready for Will.
Okay. Will, if you want to share your screen, you can. I think it would be helpful to make sure to share your the survey plan. I think one of the, if the public printed the agenda that was on the town's website, if you printed it, it came off, it was just scanned in an odd way, so it came off funny. But if you actually reviewed it on your screen, you saw it correctly. So I just want to make sure people have the ability to see the plan, Will.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So thanks, everyone, and good to see everybody. Representing Lisa B Company, and they own a parcel that has about 423 feet of frontage on Gunnacook River. The parcel is just shy of 2.5 acres. Currently, they have a residence there and a small accessory outbuilding that is used as a garage and for storage. And really, this is simply converting that garage storage building into a dwelling unit so that when they have family visitors, as they have more during COVID than ever before, they have a place that is comfortable for people to stay. So it really is very visually going to be no change to the exterior, other than there's likely to be a couple windows added to the building and possibly a door change or removal. But the footprint of the building stays the same. It's a gambrel building. I actually have a photo that I can share just so everybody can see. The other advantage of seeing the photo is you can barely see the river through the trees. There's a pretty decent buffer between this building and the river, and that's all going to remain. There's going to be, again, no site changes around the building. The only site change would be the replacement of a septic system that's existing. That I think is 20 years old or so, and we've designed a new system that will replace the existing one to serve both the house and this new dwelling unit. Copies of that have been submitted also. So it really is relatively simple, and there's not a lot of change that anybody will notice other than the interior of this building. The standards in the section talk a lot about making sure that the change of use of the property doesn't have a negative impact or an adverse impact to the property, neighboring properties, or the natural resources. And again, because the changes proposed here, it's an existing residential use, it's still going to be a residential use. It's just that this building will now be an additional dwelling unit. It has the land area, the frontage that's required for that. So as far as impact to the neighbors or the resources, it should be extremely minimal, since there's no new structures and no site changes proposed.
Questions from anyone for Will?
I have a first really simple question, Will. And that is, this is continuing to be
I guess I have one, Will.
an accessory structure to the main house? In other words, it's not fully a second residence, or is it?
No, it'll actually meet the definition of a complete dwelling unit. They're going to add a bathroom, and I'm not sure how extensive the kitchen will be, but it's going to have a bathroom and a couple bedrooms and some sort of small kitchen area.
But it's one lot, is that correct? So there'd be
It's still one parcel.
one parcel. Okay.
Yep. We're not dividing it or creating a second parcel. We looked at doing that, actually. I mean, they've got the land area to do it and the frontage to do it, but it didn't really serve their purpose. They're not looking to, carve off or create another parcel. They really just want a place for guests.
I would add that I think that's why Will mentioned the frontage that they had on the shore, as well
Right.
as the lot size, because it does meet the requirements for a number of dwelling units, lot size per dwelling unit, as well as shore frontage per dwelling unit in the shoreland zone.
Okay. And a follow-up question. Will, you mentioned, and the application did as well, that the septic system design was being submitted. Now, does that go to the planning board and not to us? Because we didn't get, and I don't even know whether that's a legitimate concern of ours.
I can speak to it, Will.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Those go to actually the code officer LPI who reviews that. Planning board does not review a septic design. That goes to the LPI.
And the zoning board doesn't either.
Correct.
Okay.
So we have the copy of the subsurface wastewater disposal system application, which is the septic system. And it's larger than the existing one. Is that correct, Will?
It has more capacity, yes.
Yeah. So that's really the most significant change here, is that with the dwelling unit, with the addition of a bathroom or extra bedrooms, the number of bedrooms for the current system is not adequate, but the new system it is. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Will, is it going in the same location?
It is. Yep, the old one will be taken out and the new one will be put in. The new one is for 5 bedrooms.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to accept the applicant's submission of the packet, which is the supporting documentation, the wastewater disposal and the site plan.
I seconded.
Those in favor?
John
Sam?
says aye.
Sam?
Steve says aye.
Go ahead.
Deb, aye.
Aye. Sam, aye. Ron, aye. John?
I'm not getting a lot of this conversation. It's very unstable internet, it's saying.
Oh,
You know,
we
Hey,
just got.
John, you could,
Yes, I'm in favor.
John, in your right-hand corner, you've got the blue, if you bring your cursor back up, I think they call them cursors still, I don't know, or a pointer, whatever it is. If you can stop your video, the bandwidth would be you'll be able to hear us and we hear you better if the computer's not trying to do both.
I understand.
I hear you though. I mean, I can hear you.
Okay, well, I'm in favor of Sam's motion.
Tia, you're muted.
Sorry, aye.
Okay, so we have unanimous approval of that motion to
Accept the,
accept the package, the supporting documentation, site plan and all documents prepared by Gartley and Dorsey dated September 15th, 2021.
yep. And I always like to include, I always think people should include and the testimony provided by the applicant.
And the testimony provided by the applicant.
So moved.
So moved. And seconded. We'll vote on that again. Aye. Sam, aye.
Deb, aye.
John, I.
Tia, aye.
Okay, it's been unanimously accepted. It doesn't look like we have any more, it doesn't look like we have any comments from the public. Are there any more board comments or questions for the applicant?
I'm going to check my email because again, we provide that opportunity to people to email me. Nothing. Okay.
So Jeremy, you didn't get any comments when you sent out the notices to the abutters, I assume?
No comments at all. I mean, and they've got multiple notices, a notice from the original meeting and then a notice from this meeting as well. Yeah.
So this is Ron. I have one comment or question maybe.
Yeah.
We're being asked to approve the non-conformance use. Is that correct?
No, you're being asked to allow the change of use of a non-conforming structure in the shoreland area.
Okay. And we're not anywhere involved in the septic approval, correct?
I mean,
Correct.
correct. I guess one could, if the state didn't have rules and you were someone wanted to put in a barrel with gravel, you could find that it didn't meet the standards.
Okay, but I'm asking, what are we approving here?
You are just approving the use of the change of use of a non-conforming structure.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other comments or questions for the applicant? And there appears to be no public testimony. So at this point, I would move to close the public hearing.
I second
So
it.
moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Sam, aye.
Ron,
Tia,
I-
I.
Deb, I.
John, aye.
Okay, it's been unanimously accepted by the zoning board. Okay, so
I think any more questions or comments from the board again, and then open it up to public comment for a second time.
okay, so the public hearing has been formally closed. We have no new information that can be entered into the evidence by the applicant or the public. The applicant can respond to clarify questions from the board, but otherwise, no one's permitted to speak without the consent of the chair. So then we're on to finding of fact and decisions. We can find the fact that the property is located at 182 Molyneux Road, tax map 107, lot 48, Village Extension District.
Is that a motion, Sam?
That's a motion, yeah. Finding of fact that the property is at 182 Molyneux Road, tax map 107, lot 48.
second,
Those in favor, Sam, aye.
Deb, I.
Ron, I.
Tia, I.
John, aye.
Okay, it's been moved, seconded, and unanimously voted in favor. We'll find also a finding of fact that the building is described as a non-conforming structure in the shoreland zone, is located entirely within the 75-foot setback from the McGonagall River.
So moved.
Second,
Sam, aye.
Ron, I.
Deb, I.
Tia, I.
Been moved
John,
and
aye.
seconded and approved by all members. The next possible finding would be to find the fact that the applicant is entitled to change the use of this non-conforming structure as long as the zoning board finds that the applicant meets the standards of Article 6, non-conforming structure, Section 3, non-conforming use, Section 6, Section 6.6, changes in non-conforming structures in the shoreland, Article 8, Section 4.3, special exception.
It's actually
Article 7.
Article 7.3.4.
Okay, Article 7.3.4, as clarified by Jeremy. I move that is a finding of fact.
And can I ask for a clarification just for, based on the standard I think it's important to make a determination that I mentioned earlier in the meeting that that section 6.6 applies, and that section Article 7, section 3.4 actually doesn't apply, because section 6.6 references you back to that section. And I think it's important to just make a finding that that section is not applicable.
So that the motion is amended to include Jeremy Martin's dialogue on those sections.
That Article 7, section 3.4 is not applicable in this instance, because this is not a change of use of a non-conforming, or this is not a change of a non-conforming use.
Okay,
Make sense?
yes,
Okay, so those in favor? Actually, the motion has been made. We need a second.
Second.
Those in favor, Sam, aye.
John, I,
Deb, aye.
Tia?
Leah, I, sorry.
Yeah, aye. Okay, so the motion's been made and seconded and approved by all members.
So now I think what you would need to do is make specific findings on section article, non-conformance section Article 7, section 6, subsection 6, or Article 6, section 6, subsection 6. Sorry, lots of sixes. And this is specifically related, and I can bring it up on the screen if you'd like. This,
Might be helpful.
all
yes,
right, let me find that.
I'll stop sharing mine, Jeremy.
Yeah, I may have to go, let me see here, hold on.
You went dark, John? Oh,
John went dark?
John went dark. Yeah, battery out.
Oh. That's,
So John's just gonna join in here.
all right.
You
Bear with me, I'm just trying to find it. I got lots of things on my computer here, as you all do. Let me see where I can find it best. Sorry about this.
Jeremy, I've got it up on my screen if you want.
Oh, you do? Perfect. Thanks, Will. Sorry.
Oops, I grabbed the wrong one. Hold on one second.
Jeremy, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
The Article 6, Section 3.4,
Yeah.
are we considering that applicable?
No, the
I
motion,
didn't think so,
I
right?
think
No.
you guys, right, no, you guys voted actually unanimously that that's not applicable.
Okay,
Because this is not the change of a non-conforming use.
okay.
Jeremy, I thought I had it. I've got, I don't, sorry.
All right, hold on. Sorry, you all. Let's see if I can find it. Nope, not there. Sent. Hold on, I got it. Here it comes. All right, I'm going to minimize this. What's this called? Lisa B revised. Okay. Back to Zoom. Sorry. Full screen, share screen. There it is. All right, are you there?
Yep.
See that?
Right.
So this is the section you're reviewing, and in most of our ordinances, you see like in the special exception, they're listed and they're bulleted or numbered. This is not. So what you do need to find, the standard is that The new use will have no greater, and this is where it is, no new use will have no greater adverse impact on the water body or on the subject adjacent properties and resources than the existing use. And then documentation from the applicant regarding probable effects on public health, safety, erosion, water quality, fish, wildlife, vegetation cover, visual, etc. Those are your standards. So your standard is that this will have no greater adverse impact on the water body than the existing use. And how you get that is that other information that Will had provided to you earlier.
So Jeremy, I seem to be stuck in the weeds tonight and I apologize.
Okay, no
But
problem.
if this requires written documentation, is the testimony of the applicant's agent, Will,
Yeah.
sufficient to meet that standard?
I think when you take it in combination with what he submitted in the application,
Yeah,
he made the determination that, Will, I don't know if you want to explain it. It's yours. About, I see in this, the last paragraph for the most part, proposed change use will not have a greater adverse impact to the property, neighboring properties, or natural resources, because the renovation is mostly internally existing building and the proposed septic system is more than 100 feet from the river. There's no greater adverse impact as a result of the proposed change of use on public health, safety, erosion, sedimentation, water quality, et cetera, et cetera. And when the whole packet along with his testimony, which I think is what he explained for the most part, is included in his packet. That's what you're reviewing, Deb.
yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure that that met the
Yep.
standard of written documentation, that's all.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Jeremy,
ahead.
this is Ron.
Yep.
So the fact that the septic system is going to be reviewed and approved by whatever agency necessary, that would answer a lot of the questions on the wildlife, fish quality and so forth. Is that correct?
I mean, so people know septic systems are designed by licensed site evaluators in the state of Maine, and they must, propose them per the state subsurface wastewater rules. And there are certain rules that govern septics and based on soils and setbacks from water bodies and streams and other things. And then it's reviewed by a licensed local plumbing inspector for compliance. So those rules are in place to, in fact, protect water quality. Yep. Ron, does that answer your question?
Well, yes, I was just sort of maybe supporting the fact that
Sure,
part of the submission will support this question here.
sure. That makes sense. Will, I don't know if you care to jump in at all.
No, I think that's, I mean, definitely the septic system is really the biggest change. Otherwise, there are no physical changes to the site.
You also mentioned that the vegetation is not being removed. There's no vegetation being removed.
No, there's no need for vegetation to be removed. And as I showed on that photo and in the aerial photo that I submitted as part of the package, you can see there's a substantial buffer between this building and the river, and that's going to remain.
Will, I did not see the picture included in your original application. Since it is a written, I guess, document, right? It's a document PDF or something. Could you include that, and will the board find that they can include that as part of the written record?
Sure, I can send the photo of the building. Absolutely.
Does that make sense? And I think the board should probably accept that as part of the written record.
I think that's very helpful.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. We got a motion and a second on there somewhere. I think that Deb and Ron probably just did it.
Yeah, I move that we accept the photograph as part of the written record.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'll second it. It's Sam in favor.
Ron, I.
Tia, I.
Deb, aye.
And John's aye. So it's been moved, seconded, and approved by all members.
All right. I mean, I think you're pretty much almost there. I think you need to make, again, the standard is the specifics on each standard involved. In this case, I think standard is that you need to determine that there's no greater adverse impact. And if that's the case, then I think someone needs to make a motion that you relied on the testimony that was presented to you by either myself and or the applicant and all their written and material and spoken material. Yeah, make a motion that needs to be positive. A motion does need to be positive, remember.
So, I mean, I don't mind trying that. I make
Yeah.
a motion that the proposed change of use will not create additional or more adverse impacts as defined in this standard and as determined or supported by the written report and the in-person testimony by the applicant's agent and also by Jeremy.
I would second
Second
that.
the motion.
Should that say will meet the standard rather than, you said will not create,
Oh, you want it to be positive?
it just needs to be positive. I don't
All of it, no negatives.
know if that messed it up.
So I can't say will have no greater adverse impact.
Or how about will meet the standard?
All right, I'll just say that the proposed change of use will meet the standard of Article 6, Section 3(4).
Article, yeah, this is fun. No, not that article. We're talking,
We're not article, are we Article 6(6)?
yeah.
That's not the one on my screen, Jeremy.
Sorry,
Okay.
hold on. Right, there it is. Right there, Article
Okay,
Section 6(6).
all
Okay,
right. So do I need to restate it or do we all understand that we are saying that the proposed change of use is in compliance with Article 6, Section 6, changes in non-conforming structures in shoreland areas based on the testimony and submitted application of the applicant and also by the testimony of Jeremy Martin.
I second.
Thank you, Tia.
Those in favor, Sam, aye.
Ron, I.
Deb,
John,
aye.
aye.
Dia, I.
Yeah, aye.
And Deb, aye.
And Deb, aye. The motion's been approved by all members of the board in favor.
There you go. I think that's really it for this evening.
Okay, so the application has been approved by the zoning board of appeals. October 20th.
Unanimous vote.
John has made a motion to adjourn.
A question, This is
Question.
Ron. Do we have to come in and sign?
Yeah, there's something we need to get recorded in the registry of deeds, and we'll work on getting that done. Getting information to you on getting that to for you to sign. Okay.
Okay, so we'll hear, Jenny will send out a note.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
you bet.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thanks, Sam. Really appreciate you chairing the meeting. And if this is the end of you on the board, we really appreciate everything.
Well, that was my intent. And I'd like to nominate Deb as the new chairman.
Yay.
Hello.
Screen just went dark. No, I think you'd do a great job, Deb, if you want to try it.
I don't have to make a statement tonight, do I?
No, you certainly do not. You certainly do not.
No.
Yeah, John says you do, but no. Or anyone else that feels, I've been doing it for 15 years now, and I think it's time for me to step aside and let somebody else be in the center stage.
Are you going to stay on the board, Sam?
At this point, I am not, unless I'm absolutely needed.
Are you required to find a replacement?
Well, they've been twisting my arm for the last several weeks, and it's starting to hurt. But no, I'm not required, but I certainly would like to facilitate, let me put it that way. And I would do whatever necessary, short of paying money.
All right.
Is that something you would consider, Deb, or?
I'll think about it, Sam.
Okay.
I appreciate your nominating me. I do.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for your service. I had no idea you'd done it for 15 years. You deserve a prize.
We'll work on that.
Yeah, I bet. Good. All right. Good night,
Okay.
everybody.
All
All
right.
right, good night
Thank
all.
you all. Thanks, Will. Thanks, Ron.
Bye.
All right.
Sam, good job.